Here today. How are you doing?
Good.
That was an amazing session that Lisa and Denny just shared. I mean, absolutely incredible. So I encourage anybody watching this replay to go back and watch that replay if you haven't seen it. Such an incredible session. I'm really excited to talk about this topic today. Jamie, you are frozen, by the way, so I'm not sure if it's an internet something. But today we're going to talk about prenatal, clearing up and releasing prenatal energy, and how that can help restore, rebalance, and heal not only our physical body, but our emotional and spiritual body. And so I'm really excited to talk a little bit about this today. Such a topic that is so emotional for so many reasons. And so I just want to really just talk a little bit about energy and how just using the concept of releasing emotional energy can really create long-lasting health and healing. And excited to dive in. So I'm going to share my screen. You're welcome to, as we go through this training today, feel free and ask questions in the chat. You're also absolutely welcome to hit that share button at the top, the blue share audio and video, and come on screen with me. I'm happy to be live on screen or interact with the chat. So, hi, Bonnie. I see you're with us as well. Awesome. So I'm going to start by just jumping in here, sharing my screen. Again, if you have questions, come on live or put them in the chat. Let's see here. Give me a moment. Okay, so perfect. So we're going to talk about healing prenatal energy. And to me, this is an often overlooked root cause of all types of dis-ease that can happen. And when we look at our physical health, our emotional health, we have to look at it from a perspective of energy. And I'm going to share a lot about energy and how I view energy. But many of the challenges and the stress that we face today really does start the moment that we're conceived. And we also have a lot of energy that we don't think about happens when we're being developed. It happens prenatally. And as an energy healer, a lot of people talk about, okay, what's going on with me right now? What's happening with my situation in this moment in time? And in reality, a lot of times we suppress or trap different energies in our body, or we don't allow certain energies to flow that support and support our body system, support our blood, support our cells, support our overall energetic state, our emotional state. A lot of times there are suppressed energies and they affect us now, but they actually occurred many, many years ago. And so they can happen when we're developing, they can happen when we're in childhood, and they can happen today. So, but it's important to look back and kind of find out what kind of things maybe were suppressed, or maybe I inherited that are contributing to what's happening with my situation right now, whatever that situation is. So, what I want to just share is a little bit about the different types of emotional energies and prenatal energies that may be part of your journey as you look at fertility and infertility, and that absolutely can affect how you view yourself, your own identity. So we're going to dive in here and let's see. All right, so this is me. I'm Kate Simpson. I'm an energy healing practitioner. I actually have a number of certifications in energy healing, from the Emotion Code, Body Code, the Global Energy Method. I also use frequency support with the AO scan technology to help guide and help balance the body and bring the body back to a place of harmony, so that your body can rebalance and heal itself. So you can see here, if you want to take a screenshot. This is how to find me on social media, my website, as well as there's a lot of different ways to work with me. And if you're curious about energy healing and how to work, whether energy healing would be beneficial or supportive for you, I always encourage people to reach out for a free discovery call with me, and I'll share more about how to do that later on today. So, but let's dive into our training here. So I want to talk just a little bit about energy healing in general, what energy healing actually is. And it's just a really simple way. There's a lot of different methods for energy healing. The methods that I use really just access the subconscious mind to just identify, and not only identify, but release negative energy that is trapped or suppressed within the body. And when that release happens, the body does exactly what it's designed to do. The body then can rebalance, mend, repair, and heal itself. Your body is designed to self-correct, to self-heal. And sometimes for that process to happen, we need to just release kind of the blocks. I mean, on one hand, we have to put the right food and nutrition and energy into the body, but we also need to release the negative vibrations that are suppressed or trapped in the body. And then when that happens, the body just starts just repairing itself, and it's a beautiful thing to witness. I just get so excited about sharing this type of work because so often when we're going through a health challenge, we don't know sometimes why we're going through that. And the beauty of this work is you don't have to know exactly why. You don't have to remember it. You don't have to figure it out. You don't have to relive a negative situation in order to heal and recover from this. So emotions are a big part of energy healing. Emotions are energy. They're made by the body. They're felt in the body, and they can become suppressed or trapped. And when emotions become suppressed or trapped, that is essentially an energetic vibration that disrupts cells and tissues and muscles and organs, entire body systems. And when we release these trapped emotional energies, it can create a situation where your body again can self-heal. So it's a really important step to healing. And in fact, I know sometimes like people view energy healing as like, woo or something like that. And truly, you're an energetic being. You live in an energetic world. Everything in the universe essentially is energy in its purest form. And when we work with energy healing modalities, we are just identifying energy. And if that energy doesn't belong, we move it out. And if it's meant to be there, we can sometimes strengthen the vibration or the oscillation. To me, it's a very logical, simple thing. But it's important to know that if we are not addressing the emotional aspect of our health, we have a big piece of the pie that's missing. In fact, science has kind of caught up with us a little, and the Center for Disease Control and Prevention actually recognizes now that around 85%, which is a huge percentage, of all physical health challenges have an emotional component to it. So we have to look at emotions when we look at healing and restoring the body. It's absolutely critical to kind of take that approach. So we're going to talk about emotions a little bit more here. Let me go back. All right, so let's talk about trapped emotions. And again, remember, everything is energy, including you, including your thoughts, including your emotions, your physical body, your energy body around you. Everything's energy. And so what the heck is a trapped emotion? Let's just start with that. Now, we're all human. We all go through life. We all have feelings. We all have emotions. And in essence, that is a physiological response that happens in your body. So you interpret things in life, even when you're a child, even when you're in the womb, you are developing and you have sensations through your body. You have your different senses that develop, but you may see things or interpret things, witness things, but you receive input from your environment. And then that input is analyzed, and a chemical reaction happens in the brain, sends a signal to a part of the body, and your organs and glands actually create the emotions that you feel. And that's why, if you tune in and you pay attention, sometimes when you feel an emotion, right, a lot of times think it's something that's just this outer sense, this feeling, right? But you actually feel it in your body if you pay attention. And sometimes you do, you feel it in your gut because maybe your gut produced that emotion. So it's when you start to pay attention, you'll actually notice more and more the emotional and physical connection with emotions. So emotions are physiological responses to our environment. And I always show it kind of like a wave. Your body produces an emotion, you feel it, and then you process that energy out of your body. Emotions are energy in motion. They are meant to move. They are absolutely meant to be felt. They are not meant to be held onto or suppressed. They're meant to be recognized, felt, and then released. And when we allow that process, which I promise you successfully do every single day. You feel an emotion and you process that emotion every single day. However, throughout our lives as humans, there are times where something might be too overwhelming, too scary, too frustrating, whatever it is, and we start to feel that emotion and we suppress or trap that energy in our body. And when that happens, that is a vibration of energy, like a ball of energy that is now not moving. It's still moving, it's still vibrating, but it hasn't moved out of the body like it's supposed to. And so, because that is suppressed either in or right outside the body, it's now disrupting tissues, muscles, organs, glands, brainwave functions, you name it. And it can create habits or patterns of emotional responses as well. So there are lots of types of emotions. There's lots of labels that we put on emotions. We give them all kinds of names. And so I want to just show you kind of the categories of types of emotions. We have internal energy. This is energy, emotional energy that is trapped in the physical body. And these are current emotions that we could be feeling or felt within a short period of time or within the last 24 hours or so, that we're having an emotional experience. And it's going on right now. You can actively feel it. It's a current emotion. You can also have suppressed emotions, and these are also called trapped emotions. Different practitioners give them different words, but it's essentially when you suppress that energy, and it is like a ball of energy trapped in the body. You can also have resonance emotions. And this is when that vibration kind of expands outward. So instead of just a ball of energy, it's now resonating throughout the whole body, and it's affecting numerous cells and tissues and not just one specific area. Accumulated emotions happen when you repeat the same emotional experience many, many times. And we as humans always do this. We always have emotions that we tend to feel more than others. However, when it doesn't matter if we feel it and we process it, then that's fine. But when we accumulate a lot of a specific emotional frequency, we call that an accumulated emotion. And it's kind of like it's an accumulated suppressed emotion, not an emotion that's felt often and released. So that's more of an accumulated energy. We also have prenatal emotions, which these emotions are felt as you're being developed. And these emotions are felt by the growing child within. They can be, even though they are very much dependent on their mother while they're developing, they can feel the emotional energy of their parents as a baby growing in the second, especially I find it more so in the second or third trimester, but I have found it in the first trimester. But it's more common a little bit later in the pregnancy cycle that that child now is feeling the energy of the outer world, even though it is safe, growing, and protected in the inner world. But there are many, many emotions that are felt, and again, maybe not fully processed. And so they get suppressed while we're being developed. We also have absorbed emotions, and these emotions are emotions that did not originate with you. However, they are trapped within your body. So you feel that vibration of energy is still disrupting a part of your body, even though it didn't originate with you. And this is, again, very common. That we would experience and absorb other people's emotions. So, this also occurs during pregnancy when a child is developing and they absorb an emotion from their mother or their father throughout the development process. And then there's also what we call inherited emotions. And these are energies that are transferred at the moment of conception. So, just like you get all of your genes from your parents, you can also inherit emotional energies. And so, this is a situation where somewhere in the generational line, it could be your parents, could be your grandparents, could be your great grandparents, they felt an emotion powerfully in their life. They did not process that energy, and instead it was passed down. And that situation is one energy that's literally connecting multiple generations because it's one energy that kept getting passed down. So those are the type of energies that are typically trapped within the body. Now, you have an energy system. As much as you have your digestive and your respiratory, your reproductive system, you have all of these systems, your nervous system, you have an energy system in your body. And you have an energy system that is made up of chakras and meridians, as well as your aura, which is a bioelectromagnetic field that is around your body. And so your energy field around you can have emotions trapped within it. And those emotional energies can affect you as well. So we call those external energy. And so, again, there's various types of external energies. Sometimes these external energies start out as internal, and we kind of start pushing them out, but they remain trapped in your energy field around you, so not fully released, but outside of your body is where they are trapped. And then also, you can get external energy from the outside world. And so a created energy is an energy that's an emotion that you created, that came from, again, a process in your body where you took input from the environment and you created that emotion. A stagnant energy is when an emotion is, again, suppressed or trapped, but it is now outside of the body instead of inside. So it is just hanging out. It's not moving. It's stagnant. So it's just kind of stuck there. An influencing energy, I feel like this affects all of us in various powerful ways. And, it's sometimes it's intentional and sometimes it's not, but an influencing energy is like all energy has the potential to influence us, but not all energy intends to influence us. And so when we find an influencing energy, this is typically something coming from the outside world, intending to influence your thoughts, your behaviors, your emotions, your actions. And so these can be very, very powerful, especially when we're dealing with family, when we're dealing with the medical community, when we're doing research online. Um, it can have a very powerful effect on us. And so these can be from, the medical system. Again, just this is how they look at things, and they're going to influence you to look at this way. I am the expert in this field, and this is what you need to expect. This is what this means. This is where it can create a lot of conflict too, because if you're being an advocate for your health and you're being told something and this is how it is, and you're seeking that person out as an expert, it can create a lot of these types of influencing emotional energies. As you're researching online, there's a lot of influencing energies that come from the internet, that come from TV news. Other people in your lives who are well-meaning may try to influence your emotions and thoughts, and you can suppress that energy. Okay, so moving on, there's also absorbed emotions, which is the same as an internal, but it's external. So again, came from another person. Another person was feeling an emotion intensely, and then you suppressed that energy. And then an inherited energy as well. Same thing as internal, except it's now located in the energy field around your body. So right outside of you, but still affecting you. So there are, again, all types of energies. And it's interesting because when to just like see this as a list or to learn about it, to me, when I first learned about it, I'm like, okay, well, that's interesting, but how does that apply to me? And so as we're going through life, I mean, if you go back and listen to the session that Lisa and Denny did, there was a lot of emotions that were involved in their journey. And these are all very, very common emotions, justifiable emotions. We're not here to judge whether an emotion is right or valid or not. We're all human and we're going to have feelings. And the true power in healing is recognizing what we feel, just giving it that name, identifying it, and allowing that to be felt and also to process. And when we don't allow that, that's when we start disrupting the body, not only physically, emotionally, spiritually, mentally. It can have many, many effects on the body itself. So, releasing trapped emotions actually is a relatively simple process. It's just often we don't know that we have these energies trapped. And, there are many ways that you release emotions naturally every day that you may not even realize. If you're someone who loves a journaling practice, you probably at times when you're journaling will get very emotional. That's healthy and natural, and that's letting it all out. That is a beautiful practice of releasing. Exercise and movement can help you release emotional energy that's suppressed or trapped in your body. A lot of times people get body work done, and you can talk to massage therapists and they'll say, I don't know, I was just rubbing their back and all of a sudden they started laughing or crying or whatever it was, but they released a suppressed energy in that moment. Now, they maybe didn't know there was an energy there, but that was still released. And so the beauty of the practice that I started with energy healing is a practice called the emotion code. I'm also now a master practitioner in the global energy method, which really is a bigger and more comprehensive approach to releasing emotions. But the purity of identifying and releasing these suppressed energies from our past is such a beautiful and simple practice, but it's very, very targeted, very specific, and very fast to identify things that are holding you back that you maybe had no idea were holding you back. And these emotions can affect our relationships. They can affect us. It might be like on a logical level, like, oh, I'm feeling grief right now. Okay, but you also might have suppressed energies of rejection, loss, sorrow, sadness that are all contributing to that grief. And if we can release all of those emotions, then you're really now in a place where your body can now really just restore itself in new, more powerful ways. And you really feel an incredible difference when you release these emotional energies. So let me move on just a little bit further here. Okay, so we also can find that when you release emotions, it can affect an entire bodily system. And you have many, many systems in your body, but our topic this month is about fertility and dealing with infertility. And so these are the systems that are often very connected, and when one is imbalanced, so are the others. Now, these can be imbalanced for emotional reasons, they can be imbalanced for physical reasons, they can be imbalanced by a lot of different ways. And what I do when I'm working with clients is I use a process called muscle testing to identify and release these energies. And so when we look back on, here, I'll go back to the previous screen here, I think, if I can. Oops, too far. Okay, so when we go back to this screen, when we can use muscle testing to identify and release these emotions, um, that's simple. It's a very, very simple process. So your subconscious knows everything there is to know about you. And your subconscious knows exactly what energies need to be released or aligned or balanced in order to create healing in the body. So, with muscle testing, it is simply a way to ask the subconscious yes or no questions in order to restore balance. And your subconscious knows how to heal you. And so sometimes there are many, many layers, and sometimes there's only a few, but we can start identifying and releasing. And so I would love to give some examples of how to do energy healing work and just kind of to show a little bit about how it works. So just the muscle testing part, when I work with clients, I work virtually, and I'm basically acting as a proxy. And so I typically ask permission from the client to connect energetically with them. When I have that verbal agreement, I then ask their subconscious if we're able to connect. And by doing that, I'm asking the subconscious to put my subconscious needs aside and allow me to be a proxy to test the other person. And so to demonstrate, there's a lot of forms of muscle testing, but one that's just easy to show on camera here is I use two little rings with my fingers and I interlock them. And then I can ask yes or no questions. And as I apply pressure to pull my fingers apart, if the muscles stay locked or strong, that's a simple yes response from the body. And if the muscles go weak and release, that's a no response. And so it's a wonderful way to truly identify emotions that are suppressed or trapped. It's also a way that we can identify how healthy or balanced certain body systems are. And we can find out what emotions might be contributing to that body system being strong or weak. And so on that other slide I was sharing, and I'll jump back to that here, we can check in and see how balanced or strong the reproductive system is, the endocrine system, the nervous system is. And sometimes just balancing one body system will completely balance the other. Other times we need to release things in all three systems. And every time I work with clients, it's different. You have different energies than the next person, but it's a really incredible way when you can balance all three of these systems together. Then you're really in a place where healing can take place to help support you in your journey. And so these are the typical systems that come up when working with issues with fertility or infertility. It doesn't mean that you may not have another system that's imbalanced. These are common ones that are connected. So if we have somebody who would like to volunteer, I'd be happy to check the overall health of each of these systems and see if there's a trapped emotion that might be disrupting one of those systems. I know we only have a couple people on
I'll do
the
it.
screen here.
I can do it.
Sheila, you're up for being a volunteer. Wonderful.
Yep, I can do it.
Fantastic, wonderful. Okay, so Sheila, this is how it'll work. I have your conscious permission. So now I'm just gonna ask your subconscious. So you don't have to answer or do anything. I'm just gonna ask your subconscious, is it okay for us to connect energetically? And so then I'm getting this yes response, right? And I'm also just gonna ask if it's right, safe, and appropriate for us to go through this process today, and that's a yes. And are you subconsciously ready, willing, and able for healing to take place? And that's a yes. So when we do that, we now have a connection. And so essentially now my needs are set aside and I'm acting as a proxy for you. And to actually prove that with muscle testing, I can actually ask my own body my name. Okay, it's a simple way to know who I'm testing for. So right now, because we have this connection, when I say my name is Sheila, I get a strong response. And when I say my name is Kate, I get a weak response, a very quick weak response. I'm still Kate. Okay, I'm still the person I am, but my subconscious needs are set aside because we're connected. Does that make sense? Okay, perfect. So let's now just dive in and we're just going to ask how balanced, and this is on a 0 to a 100 scale, how balanced each of these systems are. Okay, so let's just start with how balanced is your reproductive system as a whole. Okay, is it at or above 50%? Yes. 60, 70, 80, 90%? Yes. 90 to 95? No. So 95%, 94%, 93% balanced. So there is a 7% area there that is imbalanced. And that could be due to a lot of different things. And it could be emotional, it could be all kinds of different things that could be contributing to that. So now I should write this down because just in case, but you remember as well. So we have the reproductive system at 93%. So let's dive into your endocrine system. Okay, your endocrine system as a whole, as a system operating it, is this balanced at or above 50%? And that's a yes. So 60, is it at or above 60%? Yes. Is it at or above 70%? That's a yes. At or above 80%? That's a no. Okay, clear no there. So is it 70 to 75? 75, 74% is where your endocrine system is currently. Now, these percentages can change and will change as not only we do energy release work, sometimes they may strengthen if maybe you haven't eaten yet today and you need to like nourish your body. So there can be small variations just by doing simple things. And then they can go right up to 100. But that's why we follow that up with some more questions with, okay, what is balance or imbalance? So if we've got you at 99 or 98%, maybe you just need to nourish your body with food and then you're good to go. If you're at 93, 90, 80, 70, then there's probably some energy that's trapped that we need to dive into further. So I would say for both these systems so far, you probably have some suppressed energy that's contributing to that not functioning at 100%. Okay, so let's check your nervous system now. So is the nervous system operating at or above 50%? That's a strong yes. At or above 60, 70, 80 is no. 70 to 75, 75, 74. So also 74% your nervous system. Okay. So this is where our goal obviously is to have our body operating at 100%. Now, this doesn't mean that you have a disease or that you're dying or anything like that. However, if you are struggling with some type of symptoms or pain or discomfort, or you're finding that you have certain health challenges, then that means that we need to dive in a little bit deeper. And so then we can just ask. And again, we always talk about if the physical body is imbalanced, we need to address the emotions behind that. And if we're not addressing the emotions behind that, we're never going to have complete and total healing. So let's just ask for Sheila, is there a trapped emotional energy that can help balance these three systems together? And that's actually a yes. You have a trapped emotions that if we release it would balance, help move these three systems forward for you. And so that's where one energy can affect multiple parts of the body. Now, there may be individual emotions or energies that we need to dive into more specifically with each individual system. And that's why it's kind of impossible to do like a full healing here on like a demo. But it's just to show you that there's various things that are going on under the surface that you may or may not have any idea about. So let's just find out when we look at trying to balance all three of these systems to 100%, let's just ask what trapped emotion is contributing to that. So if we release that emotion, your body will begin to rebalance. So let's see, is the emotion here? And I'm just going through a chart of emotions that I have, and I'm just asking the body what emotion it is. And let's see here. And this is the emotion of grief. Okay. And grief, I think most of us can identify with. We felt grief at various times of our lives. Now, it's important to understand that this could be from something that happened recently or many, many years ago. And so let's just find out when this grief was suppressed. Okay, so if you don't mind, is it okay if I ask how old you are? Can you share that?
Sure, yeah, I'm 47.
47. Okay. So let's just find out when this grief was suppressed. Was this prior to age 40? And that's a yes. Prior to 30, prior to 20, prior to age 10? Yes. Prior to age 5? Yes. This is a very, very old energy. So is this age 5, age 4, age 3, age 2 years old? Okay. Now you maybe have no idea why at age 2 you felt grief, or you might know exactly what that's about. And either way, you can have healing. You don't have to know, you don't have to remember, you don't have to relive it, you don't have to understand it. And when we look at different types of, when we're dealing with a health challenge or so, sometimes it's hard to, there's so many emotions that are involved when you're having a health challenge. And so the beauty of this type of work is you don't have to relive it or re-experience it. Now you might suddenly have a memory and it makes you feel emotional. And if that's the case, allow that emotion, allow that to happen. So all right, so we have this grief from age 2, and we're going to release it for you right now just to demonstrate for everybody how easy and quick it is to release this energy. There's lots of ways to release energy. The way that I help you do it is I'm going to again act as your proxy, but the energy is going to release from you. This is your emotional energy. It's suppressed in your body. And so I'm going to just ask your body to release it. And I'm going to do that using an acupuncture meridian. It's part of your energy system. And it's a meridian that goes from the front of your lip over your head and down your back to your tailbone. Okay, so that's called the governing meridian. This is where intention and thought energy flows. And what we're going to do is I'm going to use my hands. My hands are like magnets. Okay. And I'm going to grab that vibration of grief from age 2, and I'm just going to release that from your body and let that go. And it happens just that fast. So I'm just going to ask your body, was that energy released? And that's a strong yes. So beautiful. And so now let's go ahead and replace that with something a little bit more positive. Let's add in a positive vibration to kind of fill that gap. And we're going to add in comfort. So just the energy of comfort. We're going to add that right now. And that's been added. Beautiful. Good. So that's as easy as it is to identify and release an emotion. And so obviously we can do this many times within a session. Typically, the average person has hundreds and hundreds of trapped emotions. And also, please know that you don't have to release every single suppressed emotion in your body to have healing. Because again, if you can release one energy, sometimes that kind of triggers other things to naturally start moving again. Emotions are energy in motion. And if they're stuck or stagnant, this can kind of get things moving again. So some people tend to feel it and notice the release. Other people don't feel anything at all. Some people start yawning. Some people start laughing. Some people suddenly need to move or stretch. And some people just it's like, okay, I feel fine. Some people feel lighter after they do this type of work. So, all right. So let's just see, are there any other energies that would be causing an imbalance with these 3 systems for you? And so let's dive in and see. Yes, there are. Is this emotional? Yes, it is. Is this this is an internal energy that we talked about. We're going to get a little more specific than just one suppressed emotion. This is actually a prenatal emotion in this case. So this is an emotion that you felt while you were being developed as a child. And so let's find out. And this is the emotion of fear. Okay, so at some point you felt fearful and suppressed that energy. And was this in the first, the second? This was in the 3rd trimester of your life. Okay. And so it's understand we all have these. I remember the first energy healing session I'd ever experienced, there was a prenatal energy. And when the person working with me, the practitioner, told me, it dawned on me. I hadn't thought about it, but I was like, I don't think I've ever not felt that way in my life. Like I had always felt that on some level. Maybe always wasn't conscious or not, but for me, it really resonated that like, yeah, I think at some point, at some levels, maybe not as intensely as others, but I've always felt that emotion. And it was probably because it was with me literally as I was being developed. So we have some fear. Okay, so it doesn't serve you. We don't need to know more about this. There's really probably no way to ask why you were fearful in the third trimester of your life. But we can release that energy very quickly and easily. So we're just going to grab that vibration of fear that was trapped in prenatally, and we're just going to release that right now. And we're just going to ask, has that been released? And that is a strong yes. Beautiful. Okay, and let's go ahead and replace that fear. And we're going to replace that with confidence in this case. So we're going to add in this positive energy of confidence. Has that been added? Yes, it has. Beautiful. So take a nice deep breath for me right now, Sheila. Good. And let's just see how this helped your system, okay? So let's just see how balanced is your reproductive system. Is it above a 93, and that's a yes? Is it 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99? 99% is now where your reproductive system is at. And let's see, where is your endocrine system right now? Is this above 74? And that's a yes. Is it between 75 and 80? No, 80 to 85. 80 to 85. So 85, it's at 85%. So just those two emotions we released. And then let's see where your nervous system is at. Is this balanced above 74%? And that's a yes. Is it balanced above 80%? Yes. Is it balanced above 90%? Yes. Is it balanced above 95%? Yes. Is at 95, 96, 97, 98, 99%. So a huge jump there as well. So this is kind of what can happen physically when we deal with the emotional states that is going on with us. And so I wanted to share that because sometimes when we're dealing with things, and it could be anything medically that you're dealing with or physically that you're dealing with, we can look at it sometimes from the physical body structure and sometimes from the emotional body structure. But if we don't address the emotional side, it's more difficult to have physical healing. And so that's kind of where the connection is. So how are you feeling, Sheila? You may or may not notice anything, but tell me how you're feeling.
No, I feel good. I feel good. This was cool. It was really neat to hear all that and see that, and to the grief was interesting for sure. And that went pretty far back. I was thinking maybe more recent, because yesterday was the anniversary of when my uncle passed away suddenly. So when you said grief, I was thinking maybe it was going there.
Right. Yeah.
It was
But
interesting.
the suppressed energy affecting your
Mhm.
body was from a very different time. So,
Yeah, I could see
yes,
that.
a lot of times we think about this is what I'm dealing with currently. So, here's the thing, you might be experiencing grief right now as a current emotion. And
Mhm.
if that's the case, you want to honor that. There's times it's very appropriate to grieve. And so, if this is something that brought up emotion for you because of this anniversary, the difference is it's not about not feeling. You may be feeling that right now, but
Yeah.
it doesn't mean you're suppressed it. So years ago, you suppressed it. Now you're noticing that you feel that way. Now, our goal, if you're feeling that or experiencing an emotion right now, and in this case, if it's grief or sadness or whatever from this anniversary of your uncle, then you can just say, you know what, this is how I feel. I feel this way, and that's the emotions that you're currently feeling. And just take a nice deep breath. Okay, I feel grief. I feel sad, or I feel maybe you do feel joy. Typically we don't need to release positive emotions because they naturally move on their own.
Yeah.
But sometimes when you have that suppressed energy and you're feeling it, you want to honor what you feel, and then just take a nice deep breath when you're ready and say, you know what, I'm ready to let this go, or I choose to release this. And what that does is it takes it from you feeling it to releasing that energy. And so you're now completing that wave, that emotional wave that I always do. And instead of saying, okay, I feel grief and then suppressing it, now you're just saying, oh, I'm feeling it. And it's okay to let it go. And then it moves along in a healthy and natural way. And your body's meant to do that. You are meant to feel.
Yeah,
Does that make
absolutely.
sense?
Yes, yeah. Thank you. That was great.
Awesome. You're so welcome. So, yeah, so this is a little bit about the work that I do. And, when I work with clients, I work virtually, and it's sessions can very much look like what we just did with Sheila. We can also find some really interesting things that come up. There's a lot of types of imbalances, from emotional things to psychological imbalances that can come up, imbalances within your physical body. There could be toxins and pathogens that's an energetic vibration, and we can identify that and release those types of things. We can find systems of the body that need balancing or correcting. There might be a misalignment in your body. And so there's many, many aspects to that we can address with energy healing with these modalities. And so if you're curious about this and if it can support you in your health journey and your emotional journey, I would love to support you if this feels like something you would want to learn more about. I did create a special package for the alternative healthcare solutions community. So this is for anybody who's here at the health fair today or watching the replay in the community, which I highly recommend the community. Joining that community, that $35 a month, gets you access to so many types of modalities, information from experts that are not in the traditional medical system that can guide you and support you in your health journey. But I wanted to put together, it's a 3-session family package. And the reason I did this is so that by combining a number of sessions together, this is a big discount on what it's like to normally work with me. By giving those 3 sessions, I can work with you and your partner in your fertility journey. So you would each get a session, as well as the 3rd session could be used for one or the other that needed more support with the 2nd session, or could be done as a group healing, because there are many, many energies as you go through this journey that you're each feeling some of the same emotions, or maybe you're grieving together, or maybe you're feeling, saddened or distressed. And so there's a lot of energies that can be suppressed or even shared between the two of you. And so by having this family session, you each get an individual session, and then you can have a group shared session, or you can use that 3rd session for just whichever partner you feel needs more support. So it's a 3-session package, and you can use that link. You can take a screenshot here to the link and jump onto that link. This is a private link, again, just for this community to be able to benefit from that. And if you just still have further questions and you're not sure if this is right for you, feel free and reach out and just book a discovery call with me. You can see my website there. If you click learn more, you can be directed to where you can have a discovery call. We can just jump on either a phone call or a Zoom, and I would love to just answer questions, be available to just explain things in more detail and support you in that way if that is best. So with that, I really want to thank you for joining me today. If you have any questions, you're welcome to put them in the chat or come on screen right now and ask. Otherwise, I just appreciate you being here and enjoy today. Today's going to be a powerful, powerful day. So much knowledge. I believe Jody's going to be up next teaching, and she's incredible. I've worked with her. And then later in the day with Bonnie. Again, I work with her as well. So I can just attest to all of these practitioners here in this site, just giving everything that they can to support you along your fertility or infertility journey. So appreciate you being here. And again, if you have any questions, I'm not only, once we end this session, I'm still here for a while. You can use that envelope button to send me a direct message. We can get on a private video call if you just plain have questions. I'm happy to be here throughout the day to support you as well. So thanks so much. and I hope you have an amazing, amazing day today.